This is Brother Sharif with the Hour of Power. Go to Hour of Power, Sharif Hamid on YouTube. Subscribe and share the channel so we can continue to lift the mind, body, and soul of our people. We have a very, very special interview and session with the Hour of Power this evening. Our good brother, Minister Paul Scott, out of Durham, North Carolina, and others have opened a cultural center in Mcdougal Terrace there in Durham, North Carolina, a community that I just came from. I just moved from there. I spent 11 years of my life there. I've actually been in this project, so to speak. It has been absolutely riddled with gun violence, any kind of violence that you can think of, young people being shot and left for dead in the street. I've seen it. And for this brother and others to bring light to that community, I'm almost in tears as we speak. So we're going to wait for our good brother, Minister Paul, to come on so he can explain, this a monumental achievement, and we'll get rolling with it. So while he comes on, I'll just get started like I normally do. In the name of God, the gracious, the merciful, we give him praise and thanks for his mercy and his goodness to the human family. If all the trees upon the earth were pens to write with, and if all the oceans were ink, and then another 7 oceans to add to its supply, the writing would still not be enough to explain the glory of God, for he's the exalted, all-powerful, all-wise. We confide in no other in our time of need, and we praise no other in our good fortune. He is one. And even if I live to be 1,000, it still would not be enough to thank God for his many blessings and gifts. So again, this is Brother Sharif with the Hour of Power. Go to Hour of Power, Sharif Hamid on YouTube. Subscribe and share the channel so we can continue to lift the mind, body, and soul of our people. Coming up with the Hour of Power this Monday, which is the 6th, we're going to meet at Renaissance Park, hopefully, weather permitting, and we're going to move out into the streets to try to reach our people. So that's what we'll be doing this Monday the 6th here in Pennsylvania. So all those in this area, please join me so we can go out in the street and reach our people. And tomorrow, August the 5th, at the state capitol in Harrisburg, we have the first annual Shalik Walk, honoring our brother Shalik, who was murdered by police almost 2 years ago. And we're going to honor him. Hopefully I will be making it up there to Harrisburg to speak at the state capitol steps in honor of our brother. So waiting for Minister Paul to come on. For those who have tuned in, don't go anywhere. I may have to log off because it may be a miscommunication with Minister Paul. Wait a minute, I think I just seen my brother come on. Okay. Our brother is about to join us. And there he is, my brother. Can you hear me, Minister Paul?
Yes, sir. Sorry about that, brother. I was trying to tag you in at the same time you were trying to tag me in.
Indeed. I was just telling the listening audience about the monumental opening of the cultural center there in Durham, North Carolina, my former home.
Yep.
Um, so before we talk about that, can you just introduce yourself to the audience? Because we have a mixed audience, which is the beauty of this forum. Because we can bring, you know, my audience and your audience together, but we're all one people. We're all trying to achieve the same thing. So let the listening audience know who you are, for those who don't know who you are.
Yes, sir. Thank you and honored, brother, because you had tried to interview me when you first started, man. I'll be honest with you. I didn't have access to Facebook Live. A brother in
Mm-hmm.
Raleigh, that was the only thing. A brother in Raleigh um, taught me 3 months, 4 months, no, about 6 months ago how to use it. So honored to be on your program, good brother. Miss you in Durham, missed you today especially. But you're doing work in other places. But it's not much to tell, man. Just a servant of the people. The ministry is the Messianic African Nation, also Black Messiah Movement, and as you've seen today, Stick Society to increase cultural knowledge. And also, I have a column in the Durham Herald Sun twice a month. Latest column running today on in print. You can get it online at Durham Herald Sun, dealing with uh, defining racism under from a black perspective. So that's about it, good brother.
Mm-hmm. And I understand you had, you know, some brothers and sisters helping out with this opening of the cultural center. Like, how did y'all come to make this come into fruition?
Well, you remember last year, brother, when you were here, and we talked about we would go to we had the Black Wall Street Wednesdays meetings.
Right.
Yeah. So, we talked about it last year as an idea. But, some things solidified this year. Ashley Kennedy, shout out to Ashley, who is the resident president of the Residents Council of Mcdougal Terrace. Shout out to her. She had she had been doing something in her building, but she had an extra room, and we just got in a 1 minute conversation. She said she needs some positive people to come through to Mcdougal Terrace because she feeds children and has a computer room. I said, okay, can we talked about last year putting together a cultural center at Mcdougal Terrace. She said, okay. So about 3 weeks ago, we had that 1 minute conversation. Um, the children came in there. A couple of days, I went and saw the room. A couple of days later, the children went in there, cleaned up the room, straightened up the room. I had the room ready. And in 3 weeks, brother, we made it happen. And now it would have happened in 2 weeks, but unfortunately, they had an unfortunate incident like a week ago, um, where somebody came in and stole the food for the McDougal Terrace food bank. So that delayed things a week. So it really could have happened in 2 weeks, but because of that unfortunate incident, it took three.
Hmm. And for those who are not in Durham, North Carolina, of course, with me being there for many years, I know, you know, the history and the demographics of McDougal Terrace. Could you explain to the audience like what's been going on there? Because I think that'd give people a
Mhm.
better idea of how monumental this is. This isn't just, you know, you opening up a building. This is, to me, this is monumental because of the history and the current situation there. Can you give the audience like a little backdrop of what's been going on there in McDougal Terrace, the size of it, and all that stuff?
Yeah, McDougal Terrace is predominantly African American, predominantly, very much predominantly. I don't even know if there's anybody living in the Mac, that we call it the Mac, besides black folks. So it's the largest public housing complex in Durham, probably one of the largest, if not the largest, in North Carolina. Unfortunately, like so too many of our housing projects, or as they call them, projects, we can get in it later, Brother Sharif. You can expound on that, why they call them projects. but our housing complexes, a lot of violence, a lot of shootings. Actually, what we didn't show on the news, there was actually a bullet hole in the door. um,
Mm. You mean the door to the cultural center that you opened?
mhm. There was a bullet hole in the
Mm.
door, bro. I just noticed that when I was walking out. I'm like, yeah, that's a bullet hole because somebody circled the bullet hole. So yeah, it was a bullet hole in the door. But shootings every night in Mcdougal Terrace. So our thing was maybe we can bring a little culture to change the situation. That's all. Hold on, bro. All right, my bad. Maybe we can change the culture, change the situation of Mcdougal Terrace by putting a little culture in the area. Because, as you well know, Brother Sharif, the only thing that has ever changed the black community is culture. Garvey used it,
Mm.
organized anywhere between 2 and 10 million people, possibly more than that. But it's a safe assessment to say somewhere between 2 and 10 million, depending on who you ask. Whether it's 2 million, that's great. Whether it's 10 million, that's great. He used culture to do it.
Mm.
Africa Bambaataa, for better or worse, Africa Bambaataa organized the South Bronx with culture, using culture. Everybody who has actually done anything to affect the lives of black people, for the most part, as far as galvanizing the masses, some people have used economics, some people have used spirituality, but it's the culture, even under the tent of spirituality, which is cultural. The culture is what organized our people. And, we're just trying to use culture to raise the consciousness of the Mac, or at least, as Brother Kwame Ture used to teach, the goal, no, scratch. Yeah, the goal of the conscious is not to make the unconscious conscious, but to make them conscious of their unconscious behavior.
Mm. So this cultural center that's in Mcdougal Terrace,
Mm-hmm.
is it um, um, like a house there? Is it like a community building? Because I've been through Mcdougal Terrace, but not all the way through there. Because like you said, it's so large.
Mm-hmm.
So like familiarize me, like what's the layout of it there?
Um, it is a building that the housing authority converted into a multi-purpose building.
Okay.
Ashley has been feeding, doing a breakfast program. Um, I don't know for how long. They already had a computer room. They already had a closed room. They already had a library. But our thing was to put convert one of the rooms into a cultural center. A cultural center. So the building had been used as a multi-purpose room, but we had to put that black culture in
Hmm. Now, did you have to go, because McDougal Terrace, with it being a quote unquote project, did you have to go through like the city to get approval for this? Did you have a lot of red tape to go through? Like, what process did you have to go through to make this work?
just like we did on the West End, brother. You've been on the West End with me. We don't ask, brother. We just do. We do.
Hmm.
Little Wayne. I don't know how y'all feel about Little Wayne, but Little Wayne said it the best. We do what we do, and you do what you can do about it. And that's not to sound arrogant, but um, we just did. I mean, Ashley is the president of the Residence Council, and who can be mad or be against using a room? And all we did was we're not taking over the room, we're not taking over the building. We just added a cultural center.
Hmm. So, what's the everyday um, operation of it? Can I go there any time of the day? Is it like a library where you can check out a book or buy a book? Like, so what's the operation? I know it's for culture, but what's the daily operation and the ending goal with it?
Now we're definitely not selling anything. I never,
Okay.
you know, when I, you know, I've been giving out free books on the West End for 12 years, so we're definitely
Hmm.
not selling anything. Um,
Okay.
what I would like to now, this is a work in progress. of course. Today was just the grand opening, and where it goes from here depends on the community. Now, Ashley has open hours, office hours from like 9 to 1 Monday through Friday, but we can,
Mm-hmm.
I guess, use the building on some occasions to have programs. And that's what I'm really looking for, being at the community's disposal. If they need a conflict resolution, we can use that room to do conflict resolution. If there is a
Mm-hmm.
teenager or a parent, we talk about the children, but needs to know about Black history, and they need to know a specific area of about Black history, we can do one-on-one free consultations to the community. I mean, there are
Mm-hmm.
enough, and you know how Durham is. There are enough conscious brothers and sisters in Durham that we can match conscious people, people know the history, with groups of youth, groups of adults. So right now, when Ashley's in the office, just call her up. See, can you go up, see the culture center? Other than that, we talked about today, we had a side meeting, talked about having different things in Mcdougal Terrace, because the cultural center, operative word center, that is the center of what we're doing. It's not the totality. I'm still
Yeah.
multi-willing, going to be doing the work on the West End on Sundays, but we need a center, because a lot of times in the conscious community, you get people who have read all of the books, people who have read, watched all the videos, but when it comes to applying it to do simple things, they're clueless. And I don't mean that as shade at anyone, but this is a new era we're moving into in Black consciousness. Practical application. Or as we say in the Black Messiah movement, we make miracles, manifesting in reality a clear living example. Manifesting in reality a clear living example. So this is grown folks Black nationalism. This isn't talking about uh, what we might do. This is actually conscious people getting together and say, okay, brother, you have some books. Yeah. You got some dashikis you haven't worn in 10 years. You got some medallions, just you got 10 medallions because you pick a medallion up every time you go to you pick a medallion every time you pick a medallion every time you go to a festival. So you got a closet full of medallions. Sister had a DVD player she was just getting ready to throw away because she was moving. The thing was, can we put information? Can we use our resources that most of us already have? I got 1,000. I'm in my library. I got 1,000 books. Can I donate 20 of those books to a cultural center? Yes. So it's nothing to it but to
Mm-hmm.
do it, good brother.
Right. Our good brother Amir out of Newark, New Jersey said um, financial literacy is also needed for the children and adults. Is that, I know you're just opening. I know it's probably your mind is racing with so many, things to do because now you have the platform to do it. Do you think that's something in the plans in the future, financial literacy for the people there and the broader community?
Yeah, but there's work for everybody to do to cover all the aspects of, like Neely Fuller would say, what is this 9 aspects of people suffering under white supremacy? Isn't it 9 things we should be doing? So it's room for everybody who wants to do anything, something. But I'm focusing on culture, culture.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm gonna tell you where the economic piece comes in, and a lot of people don't want to hear the grim reality of the economic piece. When you're dealing with, let me back up. Our economic program for this is called private community investment. Private community investment. This means that brothers and sisters, out of their own pockets, closets, garages, invest in the community, specific things in the community. We pull our time, energy, and resources into specific things in the community. But here's the catch. Here's the catch. The only return you're going to see is the smiles on the children's faces. because a lot of people, brother, they will invest and they may give a percentage, but they want to see a monetary return on their investment because their thing would be, well, brother, people are selfish, and that's just being real. Especially, I won't say especially in the conscious community, but in all communities. You look at the church, you look at the conscious community. A lot of our people are selfish. They will give a percentage of what they earn. It's like, okay, if you help me earn $1,000, I give you 100. This is 100% voluntary, and it's about giving and sacrifice. So that is the economic program we're dealing with, brother. Sacrifice. If somebody wants to talk economics, well, Ashley has a food program that she's been doing. Economically donate some food.
Hmm. Hmm.
I mean,
Well, I think it's a noble thing, and you're exactly right. We're not going to build anything, especially for people um, who are already, struggling. If we're not willing to volunteer,
mhm.
and give our time, especially if we're coming at it, from a spiritual aspect. Um, how do you think this is going to impact the violence and lack of knowledge of self that's going on there in Mcdougal Terrace?
Like you said, brother, and I humbly say this is an historic moment. This is
Hmm.
an historic moment. I mean, I can tell. I mean, with the brothers that came through today, if we got together and we are together, if when we get together and I would say more solidify our efforts in a central place. Let's see, Brother Cimarron came through today. Um,
Hmm.
Brother Amon, Muhammad came through today. So, and you're talking about giants, a
Yes.
lot in the conscious community. Because the thing about North Carolina is we have a lot of, Durham is like a island to itself. Durham is the blackest city, unequivocally, between DC and Atlanta. But we're
Hmm.
kind of like our own little island because Durham really doesn't take the outsiders too much. And that's the way it's been. I
Hmm.
remember back in the no bookstore days, man. I mean, people would come to do lectures at the no bookstore, and they would get all kinds of applause and people falling like sheep across in areas across the country. But when they came to Durham, I've seen the best. I mean, the best get it. I've seen the best get it, but that's just Durham. But um, we have everything we need to answer your question. We have everything we need, and we just need to solidify our efforts. And hopefully, a Marcus Garvey cultural center will be a central point of what we need to do, not only in Mcdougal Terrace, but in Oxford Manor, in Cornwallis, uh, other places.
Hmm. Um, can you give us an idea of um, what's the content of some of the literature that you have there? I know you probably got a ton of stuff, but like if someone just popped up there, what would they expect to run across that would really kind of jump out at them?
And man, look, um, this is I'll put it this way: the library is I mean, the culture center is an ongoing process. It's an ongoing
Hmm.
process. Um, I give away the best books on, and you've seen it. I give away the best books on Black history on the street. If you
Hmm.
name a Black history book, I've probably given it away on the street several times. Autobiography of
Hmm.
Malcolm X, Miseducation of the Negro, How Europe Undeveloped Africa, um, various books by the Black Panthers. I've given away most of the books I have in my library. I've actually given away on the street as well, because for
Hmm.
those who outside of Durham, we have a Black library called the Stanford L. Warren Library, and every
Right.
week they sell used history books for 1, 2, $3 in that price range usually. Um, so I go every week and I pick up maybe 4 or 5 books to give out on the street. Only difference is instead of giving all the books away on the West End on the street, I'm putting some of them in the culture center as well as other brothers and sisters. I don't want to leave that out. Other brothers and sisters have all also been donating books to the culture center. So yeah, it's a cultural center.
Hmm. And I saw a short video of you. Um, I guess it was during the grand opening today, and it was a beautiful, slender sister there. Who was that
Yeah,
sister? Is that the sister you're talking about?
yeah, she's the head of the Mcdougal Residence Council. She's the president. So she made it happen.
Okay, what's that sister's name? Just want to give
Yeah,
her her
Ashley Kennedy.
recognition.
Ashley Kennedy.
Okay,
Because
okay.
it wouldn't have happened because being a public housing complex, I mean, you just couldn't
Hmm.
go there and legally stand on the street. So, technically, but she opened the door room. So if she hadn't opened the room, it wouldn't happen to McDougal.
Hmm. And how did the children there in the community receive it? Do they really know the significance of it? I know it's probably a broad range of teenagers and youngsters there. How did they seem to receive this new opening?
Well, see, that's what really got me energized to do it. Because even before we opened it up, the week we are not, we just, I was talking to Ashley, and I guess the kids were ear hustling overheard maybe, because she was down there feeding the kids. And she said every day this little girl had come by asking, when are we going to open the cultural center? I
Mm,
guess, we make a lot of promises to people. We're going to do this and we're going to do that. And we get people's hopes up high and it never happens. So um, they were enthusiastic about that. They had to be enthusiastic to clean out that room. And today, there were actually other things going on at the complex today. And some of the children came through to the culture center and they were excited. As you can see from the video, they were excited. But
right.
the key is how that becomes our post, how that area becomes our post. You ever watch Luke Cage? You probably don't have time to watch it. Luke Cage on.
No,
Oh, okay.
no, I don't.
Yeah, Luke Cage was on Netflix. I you know Netflix is a whole different story, but this is before the situation with Netflix. They had something about a show called Luke Cage was a comic book hero, and what really made me motivated about opening the culture center when we did was there was a scene where there was a barber shop and everybody said this barbershop is like Switzerland. This barbershop is sacred. Even the big time drug dealers said this barbershop is sacred. In the show on Netflix, Luke Cage, one of the big time drug dealers even shot one of his boys for violating that barbershop. So we're trying to create that same sense of community where the community says, nah, this is ours. Whatever mess y'all got going outside these walls, this is holy ground.
Hmm.
So that's our goal,
Right,
to make that a neutral zone where if you got beef, we can go in there, that coach room, and bring in some strong brothers and sisters, and we can straighten that out before it escalates.
right. Which will hopefully attribute to the reduction of violence and hostility and just a lack of knowledge of self there. It's going to serve, so many purposes.
Mhm.
And as of today, the youth can go there and start getting books. Is that correct?
Yeah. hmm
Hmm.
Yeah. 'Cause
Right. Did you see him scooping some books up?
no, they left them in there today. I don't think because here's the thing. Um, the idea is to have a steady supply of books. So if they can come in and read the books there, that would be great. If they take them, that'd be great. Because I put a set of encyclopedias in there, brother. So hopefully some of the books they leave there. like the set of encyclopedias. Other books are going to have a separate box, and you can just take those home. But here's the thing: if you if a youth actually goes into that center and picks up a book, that means they want it. That means they want it. You know, on the street on the West End, we ask people walking down the street, do they want a book? You know, some people may read it, some people might not read it, but we offer it to them first when they walk down the street. For the culture center, you have to go through the
Mm-hmm.
door, go up the stairs, and go in the culture center. So if you go in there and you take a book home, that's because you really want it.
Right. Mm.
And you know,
Yeah, that
books are infinite, brother. I mean, like I said, Stanford L. Warren Library, which is less than a mile, it's walking distance almost from Mcdougal Terrace. They re up
mm,
you classic use Black history books like this
mm-hmm.
every day, seven
Yeah.
days a week. So we can have brothers and
Mm,
sisters can say, okay, for my contribution to the Culture Center, I'm going to go by Stanford L. Warren Library every week and pick up maybe one or two books and give them to the Culture Center. I'm going to pick up a used history book at Stanford L. Warren Library, drive less than a mile, almost walking distance. It's not even a mile to Mcdougal Terrace. And my contribution is every week I'm going to buy one or two Black history books. That way we'll have a steady flow of Black history books. And if people take them, if they leave it there, we'll have a steady pipeline of Black consciousness coming into the community center. Because I donated some of my DVDs because, you know, everything's online now. Sister gave a DVD player. So yeah, we have a good set of DVDs in there right now. Kwame Ture, Fred Hampton. Um, I gave away one of my Drop Squad DVDs. So yeah, you know, a lot of our brothers and sisters, especially in the conscious community, we got DVDs that we don't watch anymore because everything's streaming. Why don't you donate those DVDs to the Cultural Center? Brother
right.
donated a CD, not a CD player. He donated a CD component. It's like Kenwood. If you have conscious CDs, everything's streaming. Those conscious CDs are Public Enemy and X Clan and uh, anybody else conscious that you got in your house that you don't listen to anymore. Just collect and just put them in the culture center. That's how we make this thing work.
Mm-hmm. Now, as far as people donating, like you said, DVDs and different information. Now, is it, I don't want to say restriction, but can anyone donate any information? Like if, say, a Christian brother or sister comes by and they want to donate a CD on how great the Lord Jesus is, or a Muslim brother wants to talk about the life of Muhammad, is that okay to donate?
My thing is this, brother. The reason that we named it the Marcus Garvey Culture Center is because Marcus Garvey said, okay, we're going to unite all Black people under red, black, and green flag under Black nationalism. If it's dealing with
Mm-hmm.
Black nationalism, I don't have a problem with it. I don't want people to propagate, you know, now that you know how people are, man. I won't say our people, but people. You know, when something gets built, everybody wants to say, okay, this is a great idea. You know, I want to bring it in this direction. Now, that's why we called it the Marcus Garvey Cultural Center. Um, but Brother Shamel, he donated the posters, and we have a picture of Noble Drew Ali up on the wall. He's a part of Black history. You know, we want
Mm-hmm.
people who are actually part of Black history. He donated a lot of posters and we put them up on the wall, no problem. If I wanted to put a picture of Yeshua on the wall, that's part of Black history. If the nation wants to put in, because Minister Mom brought in a whole lot of books, but I was running up and down the stairs, making sure everything was straight. I don't know what he brought in, but if he wanted to bring in Torchlight of America or Message to the Black Man, that's Black history.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think, but because we're in the hood. But okay, let me rephrase that. Let me put it this way. This is the big picture. As far as the conscious community goes, If we don't do it, we leave a void. If we don't do it, we leave a void. If we take ownership of that post, to borrow that phrase, and we really invest time, energy, and resources right now, we're in control of the direction. Now, if we don't support it, but you know how it goes, brother. Some people will support things with the sole idea of controlling the content. But if,
Right.
but if other people want to help, we got the cultural center because it's dealing strictly with black culture. But if you want to help outside of that, Ashley needs food, Ashley needs clothes for the kids, Ashley needs book bags, Ashley needs notebooks. You can contribute on that level and it's still serving the community. But do we want somebody coming in and try to change the direction of Marcus Garvey and the vision he had for black unity? Absolutely not.
I follow you, man. Um, finishing out, brother. God willing, the end of this month, brother Sharif and the Black Love Movement will be coming back home to Durham, North Carolina, God willing. And one of my first stops, God willing, is going to be to the Cultural Center. So I'll be hitting you up to let you know I'm in the area. And I want to just come by and support, donate whatever I can. So I'll definitely let you know in advance, but it should be the last Saturday of this month. I'll be down that way.
Okay.
So I definitely want to link up with you. And one question I had for you, kind of on topic but off topic. Man, where's our good brother Hugo Chavez when we need him? A couple years ago, he stepped foot there at the UN and he said, El Diablo aquí. He said, the devil was here.
Mm-hmm.
He said, the devil was here talking about George Bush.
Right.
What do you think he would say about? I very rarely bring this man up because he's almost insignificant to me. But what do you think he would say about uh, Donald Trump calling uh, our good brother LeBron James stupid? And what do you think about LeBron James, since you're opening up an education center, even though you're calling it a cultural center, but it's for education? What do you think about LeBron James opening up a school there in Akron, Ohio?
Yeah, I spoke about that at the press conference. I used that as a reference. It's unfortunate. It's unfortunate. But going back to Garvey's vision, if we were organized, if we were organized and actually organized the way we are on Facebook, in our community, local communities, because all politics is local, a lot of these things wouldn't happen, period. A lot of these things wouldn't happen, period. But yeah, I heard about the tweet 45 sent out. Um, you know, they do what they do. I think, more so than what Hugo Chavez would say, what would Garvey say? Garvey would probably say, up you mighty race, you can accomplish what you will and keep it moving.
Right. But what do you think about LeBron James
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
opening the
I
school?
think it's a good thing. I think it's a good thing. I'm not going to go there. I'm not going to go there. I was going to go in a direction, but I'll take it back in another direction. People need to see things happen. People need to see the results of the fruits of their labor, because if they don't see results, the people will begin to think everything's a hustle. They begin to think everything's a hustle and they begin to lose faith. Um, Start small. We can't all be LeBron Jameses and open up schools, but you can in
Right.
your community, like we did on the West End. You can start a street institute, even if you don't have a room. For 12 years, we were out there on the street, 100 degrees, 30 degrees. You've been out there, brother. Um,
Mm-hmm.
we out there, and anybody can start a street institute. All we did was get some snacks and a box of well, it used to be DVDs and Steve Conscious DVDs and CDs. You know, people would let me use their music and whatever. But then we started giving out books a couple of years ago. We just found a corner in on the West End, and we just started doing it. We just started doing it. And brother, before we go, let me tell the community how I met Brother Sharif. And I know the brother doesn't mind me saying this. I was on the block, and these young people, I was trying to talk to these young people, and they kept talking about a man named Mr. They would say Mr. Sharif, Mr. Sharif. Oh, Mr. Sharif told us that. And my thing was, okay, who is Mr. Sharif? Because we hadn't met at that point. I think he would just come down. And when you actually came on the block, I said, brother, I know you're real because the kids were talking about you before I even met you. See, that's how you know when somebody's doing work. When children come up and say, well, Mr. Sharif told us this, or Mr. Sharif, you know who I'm talking about, the one who the house got burnt down.
Yeah,
We brought
yeah.
him
I know you're
water
talking
and-
about the three
Yeah,
brothers.
we brought him water and all that stuff that day when the house burnt down. But yeah, so your reputation had preceded you, brother. You know, I ain't got no reason to lie to people. That really happened.
Yeah, I appreciate that, brother. And you've been putting in work, there in Durham, for years and years. So when I seen, this, that you actually, were instrumental in a big part, of having, the center there. I was just happy for you, and of course happy because we do this for the community, it isn't for ourselves. But I was just happy for you that all the work that you've been putting in now, you got a center, and it's going to be more, to this. Like you said, you hit the nail on the head earlier, that hopefully this spreads to the Cornwallis projects. I've been through there. Liberty Street, when you were doing your work on West End, and you said, brothers, spread it out. It was plenty times I went to Liberty Street, projects by myself, like you were by yourself, many of days and weeks there. So I believe this is going to spread, and I'm asking your permission right here on Facebook Live. Some people will take other people's ideas and then try to mask it as their own. Well, I'm asking your permission right here on Facebook Live. Can I take your idea and duplicate it right here in York, PA, right outside of Philly? We're right here. I'm right in between Philly and Baltimore. I'm asking your permission to kind of steal a little bit, but it's not really stealing because I'm asking your permission. Well, I want to do this right here in PA. We got other things going on with the Black Love movement. We're hitting the streets, and we got all kind of stuff going on. Just like, but I'm asking your permission. Can we do this right here in PA and kind of put your stamp on it?
Well, brother, you know you don't have to ask for my permission. Sometimes in the past, I'm gonna be honest with you, I have bore the weight of making things happen from beginning to end, but this case is different. I couldn't have pulled this off myself. Some things I could say, like, I could do that by myself. But in this case, I couldn't have made this happen by myself. It would have been too much to get bookcases, CD players, DVDs, get a room, all that stuff. So this is a group effort. I named it the
Mm-hmm.
Marcus Garvey Center. We named it the Marcus Garvey Center because one thing Garvey taught is the thing he had was for all Black people. He gave the
Mm-hmm.
red, black, and green not to one particular person. He gave it to all Black people. So, in that spirit, I
Mm-hmm.
have no monopoly on this, and I wish you most high blessing on your endeavors.
Yes, and I know our dear sister Shazette was instrumental, and I know she supports. She's a wonderful, beautiful sister inside and out. I'll be sending her a message, letting her know that I'm coming through. But I know she's been behind you.
Yeah, I mean, she was there today. She actually put up the red, black, and green stream, and she rolled up with the girls, her daughters, and she was like, "What can I do?" I said, "Sister, I need a sister's touch to make this room even better." Because me being a dude, I'm not looking at this. I'm like, okay, we got books on the bookshelf. Let's do it. So but sister and her daughters came in there and they put up the red, black, and green streamer. So that was a beautiful thing. Yeah.
Yes, no, yeah, we definitely need a sister's touch and nurturing whatever we do. We never can leave them out because they're the backbone. Even if they're not there in body, them just supporting us. Your wife and everything. We always got to include the sisters. I mean, just them backing us up. Just knowing that you have a sister, whether it's your significant other, your wife, or whatever, knowing that they back you up and what you do, that's power within itself. And salute to all the sisters out there that back up strong men like this brother here. It isn't talked about enough, but it's much needed. Malcolm couldn't have done what he did without Sister Betty. Martin couldn't have done what he did without Sister Coretta. And Marcus Garvey, who your center is named after, he couldn't have done what he
That
did,
was two wives.
without his wife.
Two wives.
Huh?
Two wives.
Two. Yes. Was that sister? What was their names, brother?
Um, they both had the same name, brother. I got the book.
Is it? Was it Amy? Was it
Both of
Amy
them,
Jakes
both
Garvey?
of them name were Amy. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So salute. Salute to them. The most honorable Elijah Muhammad was Sister Clara, and the sister who just passed away, which is Ishmael Muhammad's mother, Tynetta
Mm-hmm.
Muhammad. So we could go on and on, about sisters backing up these strong men in the community. And, salute to those sisters who back you up and your wife.
Yeah, salute to
So
my
we
wife,
definitely can't
man.
leave the sisters
Yeah,
out.
salute to my wife. She's the one that gave the actual encyclopedia set. She made the poster we put on the door. So salute to my wife as well.
Yes. All right, brother. Thank you for your time. And again, salute to you and all the sisters and the brothers who have donated. Minister Amon, my good brother, Simran. I cannot wait to get back down there to see you, Minister Amon, and brother Simran, who have been pillars in the community, from day one. As soon as I got to Durham over 10 years ago, y'all are some of the first names, that I heard. I was like, man, who are these brothers? And lo and behold, I ran into y'all and, formed a relationship with y'all, and we got things done, and it's going to continue to roll. We just got to keep this thing going to turn over to the youth, because we're not going to be here forever, so you're laying the foundation for others, to take over, and hopefully they have an easier road than what we have, to make us return to our greatness. So I can't wait to get down there to see you, brother. And like I said, a couple of days before I get down there, I'll shoot you a message so you can walk me through the MAC and see this wonderful cultural center. And it's going to grow and it's going to spread throughout Durham. I know it is. I can already see it.
Yes, sir. And as always, brother, first of all, it was an honor to be on your live stream. And as always, we leave you with the Black Messiah motto: stop waiting for a savior and be one.
No doubt. And as the hour of power says, we are here to lift the mind, body, and soul of our people. So this is the hour of power with our brother, Minister Paul, opening the historic cultural center in Mcdougal Terrace, an area that has been plagued with violence over the years. But with the opening of this cultural center, I know it's going to reduce the violence and spread peace, love, and unity amongst our people. And I'll be seeing you soon, brother, and salute to you and all the soldiers down there with this historic opening.
Thank you, brother.
Peace, brother.
Peace. Shalom.